Let's not do that.
But the show likes to implode in our face.
No.
Also, hey, by the way, Stadia is on massive discount next week, hey?
I
Or
saw
like
that.
starting tomorrow, $22 for
the
premium
kit.
edition.
Yeah.
Is that's for the
That's the
startup
controller and the dongle.
Yep.
I might just do that just because it's so damn cheap.
Yeah.
Even though I never play it, but
The new Google TV thing that they have, the new one, where it's like the Google Ultra stuff, the Chrome, whatever, I forget the names they have for everything, but they got a newer one that comes with a remote and everything. It now has the app so that I can connect my Stadia controller to that same device. So I don't have to use the one that comes with.
oh yeah, Google has been saying that I should upgrade to their new Google TV, which might be what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I have their older generation of Google TV through fiber, but I think I'll lose everything in my DVR. And that I've recorded a lot of stuff over the last year and haven't watched a lot, so I'm gonna have to take notes of what I'm recorded and then figure out and then find it on streaming service somewhere.
And thanks for watching Google Dads. All right.
Ready?
Everybody ready? All right.
3, 2.
Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 352, recorded on November 18th, 2021. On tonight's episode, we discuss the Gaming Award nominations. League of Legends is partnering with Nintendo. Justin representing Nintendo Dads and taking on all challengers in the 2022 Super Smash tournaments. And just how much Japan loves Nintendo, we'll talk about that in a minute. Jesse, you know what to do.
Hey folks, what is going on? Welcome to Nintendo Dads. Man, I am excited to be here. I am your host today, host with the most in the hot seat. Here, Justin Masson, running this ship, and I'm excited to be here with two of the coolest guys around on the internet. First, hitting the soundboard, making all the sweet bippity boppity boos going on the sounds, Mr. Jesse Waldack. Jesse, how are you, sir?
Pretty good. Yeah, kind of a long work week, and I'm glad it's done, and I'm glad I have all next week off, so I don't have to work again until the 29th.
Oh, wow. That is a nice time off then, hey?
Yep. I'll be able to try to get a few games in that I haven't had the time for.
Yeah.
And my son finally got something that he's been trying to get for 6 years, and hasn't been able to get it until now.
What's that?
He got his learner's permit.
Oh, congratulations to Matthew.
He's only 21.
I thought like you were setting up like a joke, like he finally got a date.
No. I would. It wouldn't.
That'd be nice too, right? Like get out of the house.
It wouldn't be beneath me to make a joke at his expense. I've done it before, but yeah. He's 21 years old. Finally got his permit. You know, I don't fault him because I didn't get my license until 21 either.
Sure.
Yeah, but at least I had my permit at 15 when I was supposed to, and just had it for 6 years.
There you
go. He just couldn't pass the tests until.
Well, congratulations to Matthew. That's fantastic.
So tomorrow I will go out in the morning or afternoon with his first driving lesson.
That's great. That's awesome. That's a big step, right? So yeah, congratulations to Matthew. Well done. Matthew is a fantastic kid. I like him a lot. Speaking of a guy I like a lot, Mr. Timothy Alf. Timothy, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing good. At least I knew I was next because Marty's not here. So
Should be, right? You're like, who's it going to be? Where's he going to throw to?
Right. But I'm doing good. Excited about all the things that are going on in my life. As I mentioned before, just moving and getting closer to that goal of closing on the house so that we can actually start getting stuff out of here and into a new home. So, but I'm more excited about what's going to happen tomorrow night, and we'll talk about that later.
Oh, I was like, oh, that is you know what that's called? stay for the show. You know what I'm saying? That's a teaser. The entire time you're like, what's happening? What's going to happen tomorrow night? Right? So that is very exciting stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're here. We're going to break down the Nintendo news. As is mentioned, Mr. Marty Estes is not with us. We wish him well. He is still down in the House of the Mouse, getting robbed every single day by Goofy, but he looks like he's having a great time with his family down in Disney. So we're excited for him.
Also known as the concession stands.
Yeah, the concession stands, merch stands, whatever you want to call it. I am sure they're going to be rot poor when they get back. But watching his photos. Yeah, looking at his photos online. If you don't follow Marty on Facebook or on Instagram, or sorry, I don't think he's on Instagram. I apologize. Twitter, you should be, because he looks like he's on Instagram too. Okay. Yep. He's having an absolute blast. You should definitely check him out there. I would do that. Also, for those of you that may be tuning in and like, hey, wasn't there supposed to be a special guest this week? Just as a heads up, Adam Ruffle, who was supposed to join us, let me know actually a couple of days ago he had to step away for work for a couple of days. So unfortunately, he was not able to make it. We're working on rescheduling him as well. So we'll keep you in the know when that occurs. Other question we have been asked is, hey, next week is Thanksgiving. The Americans, Jesse and Tim, are off. Justin, what are you doing? Ladies and gentlemen, oh, Canada, it's a Canadian takeover next Thursday. Justin Mass and Sean Capri, we're taking over the Nintendo Dads. And if we can find another Canadian, Adam, I'm looking at you, it's going to be a 3-way Canadian takeover.
Wow.
I did not think that out when I said that. You know, I did not. Maybe I should have said that better in my head beforehand. Ladies and gentlemen, though, I digress. We're excited to do it. Let's just jump into it. Let's just jump right into the news today. And today's show is brought to you by Manscaped and Gooder, but we're going to talk about those later. But the news is brought to you by patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. For as little as $1 a month, you can jump into our amazing community and listen to all of our rants, raves about all the weird things we do, get invited to the dinner table, share some crazy photos of things that you're doing, find out exclusive new discount codes, get artwork sent to you, be a guest on the show. It's all over there on patreon.com/Nintendo Dads for as little as $1 a month. Woo-wee. Gentlemen, it has been a week for Nintendo, hasn't it? I did this. It's been like
it was a slow news week until yesterday. Then everything seemed to hit.
I'm sorry, yeah. I can't move forward because I'm still stuck on the 3-way Canadian thing happening next week. So
get over it, Tim. Move on.
Can I get in on that?
No, you cannot get in on a 3-way Canadian thing happening. Come
on. I mean, I'm in Michigan.
There's a lot of maple syrup. There's some hockey sticks used. It's so weird. All right. It's just so weird.
Okay, fine.
A lot of Shania Twain being played in the background. So, should we start off?
Fontes says Tim Bits for all.
Tim Bits for all, right? Tim's Bits for all.
Friendo says Wayne Gretzky.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. There are a couple of big news items we can talk about. I'm gonna ask you, where do you want to go first? Do you want to talk Game Awards, or do you want to talk about this whole League of Legends thing? What do you want to talk about first?
Let's go down the list. Go down the list.
All right. Well, let's start, I guess, in timeliness. So on Tuesday, Riot Forge and Nintendo announced a kind of a partner direct, I guess is the best way I would say it. This is very similar to what we've seen. And they ended up actually doing a almost hour-long presentation. And so let's talk about a little bit about what was presented at this event. Jesse or Tim, did either of you get a chance to watch this?
I didn't even know this thing was a thing.
Well, literally, go ahead, Tim.
I was going to say, I knew this was going on, and then I knew it was supposed to be some sort of partnership, a different way of showing their, it was just different. Yeah. But I didn't know what to expect. So I didn't think it was going to be a big deal other than maybe, 1 or 2 games that they were working on that they already talked about, or maybe a surprise would be coming. But I didn't know it was going to be this big of a partnership.
Yeah. And maybe you're asking, you're like, who is Riot Forge and why do I really care? Well, Riot Forge is the folks behind a spin-off party who works with League of Legends. And that's kind of important. That's something that you really want to know about. And so what actually ended up happening for this about 45 minutes, just shy of an hour, there were four games that were covered during this event that are coming to Nintendo Switch. And the first of them was Ruined King, a League of Legends story, which shadow dropped that day. Now, we hadn't known about this game prior, but we hadn't heard anything that was occurring. The next one was Mayhem, a League of Legends story as well. And what Riot Forge is doing is taking characters in the League of Legends universe that people may know, and they're actually giving them full stories and making sure that you're becoming much more familiar and comfortable with these characters in League of Legends. This is
doing what Overwatch did.
That's exactly it, right? They're doing it very much an Overwatch
12 years later.
But they're getting their own story, their own games, their own stories. And this is really interesting because you think about earlier this month on Netflix, Arcane, a League of Legends story came out. League of Legends is League of Legends is a huge game, right? Huge franchise, massive. It's actually, I think, like the biggest game out there, despite like Fortnite and everything else, from a active users base. But what's happening is they're kind of saying we need more people to know our IP and getting involved with it. So this was a very interesting choice. Now, the Ruined King, a League of Legends story, is actually a turn-based RPG, and Hextech Mayhem is a rhythm runner, which is kind of interesting as well. Both very different games, but very cool. And what they're doing for Riot Forge is partnering with indie developer studios and providing them these games, like these ideas, to develop their own, which is super, super cool. The other things that were announced as well during this event was Convergys. Again, these are called A League of Legends Stories, and that's being developed by Double Stallion Games. And it is a 2D action platformer with an incredible art style and a unique mechanic about shifting time and space. The other one that was also mentioned as well is Song of Nunu, and this is actually being worked on by Tequila Works, who is the people who developed Rhyme. Now, both Song of Nunu and Convergence are coming out in 2022. So League of Legends basically says, hey, we want to partner with Nintendo. We want to bring these games to your platform. You've got 95 million consoles in the wild. Let's start developing some games for your console. Now, some of these games are available on other platforms as well, but they made a very interested, concerted effort to make sure they knew it was being partnered with Nintendo, which I thought was a really fascinating thing to do. So I'm going to take a pause here and ask, like, any thoughts on how this landed with either of you, or now that you know a little bit more, do you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's definitely something that I was intrigued by after we heard more about it afterwards, about what was going on, especially with what they're trying to do with their property, to make it more well known. Obviously, like you said, there's 95 million people who have a Switch. So, and we've seen that a lot of PC users use the Switch. More and more they've been using it. And I think that might be why we see the Steam Deck coming too, because they want something that they could play their PC games on, probably on something like that. But we even see Nintendo have a lot of cross saves from the PC and Switch games that are on both systems, where you can do cross save to both, which I always thought was really cool too. So with that, all that stuff going on, I think there's something there that I've always been intrigued about, which is, and maybe something Nintendo can tap in more with, and that's the PC gamer, who that is normally what League of Legends is a PC game. And I was a little disappointed when I found out they didn't have the actual League of Legends game or the spin-off version of that coming to the Switch, but maybe that with these games, however well they do, maybe it will eventually come because of Pokemon Unite and stuff like that.
Well, and that's the interesting thing. I'll take a bit of a pause there, because what the games that you're referencing there is League of Legends Wild Rift, right? That's the one you're talking about, that spin-off. So that game recently came out on mobile, right? And it's available right now in your app store. It's a free download on iOS. And if you go to their actual page, they say currently available on, mobile devices and coming soon to consoles. So they're obviously developing a version. Now, I'll be very honest with you. When I saw this announcement, did some research into Riot Forge, understood what they were offering, I was like, yeah, Wild Rift is going to be announced like it's out today, right? Because that makes 100% sense. Again, you've got 95 million Nintendo Switch owners. it is. You've seen kind of the success of Pokemon Unite. Now, maybe there was kind of some agreement there with the Pokemon company. It was like, no, you can't have a MOBA right on, because we just did one like 4 months ago. Like, you're going to eat our lunch if you do that. Right. So you need to slow it down. Right. But I also wonder if this is, and when we look at this idea behind this partnership, I wonder if this is like phase one of the announcements, and there will be a second phase where we do see Wild Rift come to it. The other game that I also think about potentially as a game that could be coming to Nintendo Switch is Valorant. Now, Valorant is a team-based shooter similar to something like Overwatch. Had a great, kind of a strong showing in the PC space last year, and I don't think would be outside the realm of possibility to run on the Nintendo Switch. And I know that they've expressed interest in bringing it to the consoles, right? Xbox and PlayStation. They've talked about that. Nintendo Switch, I think, seems like a pretty logical progression to go over that. Again, when you talk about an install base of 95 million, you have games like Fortnite, Apex Legends, Overwatch, Rocket League, these kind of really team-based games, Paladins, that do play on the Nintendo Switch. So it does logically make sense. I think this was a very interesting move by Riot Forge. I think it was a very interesting move from Nintendo as well. There's a strategy behind it, and I'm interested to see how it pays off. But I think them kind of saying, we want to hold a special event and we want to talk about a partnership specifically with Nintendo was very, very strategic.
I just looked on the Nintendo site. All 4 games are listed. 2 of them are shown as 2022. 2 of them have launched earlier this week. I'll keep Ruined King in the back of my head. Turn-based RPG. That's what I'm interested in. But with Death's Door coming out, I kind of want to play that first.
Jesse, I have been playing Ruined King.
Yes,
I like it a lot.
Well, then it means I won't.
I have put in like 2.5 hours onto it already, and I think Ruined King might be on Game Pass right now too. I think.
Oh, if it is, then I'll definitely
sure. You might want to check it there. But I will say I have very much enjoyed Ruined King. It's very cool. We're going to talk about it and what you've been playing. But again, I think keep an eye out for this. And by the way, this Convergence game that they talked about and the Song of Nunu, both beautiful looking games, fantastic. All of these games have my attention, which is exactly what League of Legends wants, is they want your attention, right? And again, the show that's currently on Netflix, which I heard have been getting rave reviews, the character from that show on Netflix, and I don't know the character's main name, or actually maybe it's a character from Wild Rift, has just been a character in Fortnite last week that you could purchase as well. So they're very much trying to insert the League of Legends brand or co-op the brand with other major big stream, big event platforms like Fortnite, like Nintendo, to kind of bring it out of the kind of like the game that I think everyone like knows it exists, but is scared to get into it. And that's the thing with League of Legends, right? It's such a huge game, but one of the challenges that I've heard a lot about looking into League of Legends is like the community is pretty tough on you. And it's hard to just kind of like figure out how you get into the game, where you enter into that universe. But if you can find a story on Netflix that you can connect to the character, find different standalone characters through these League of Legends stories where you understand them and you develop relationships, you become attached to them, that becomes an easier gateway to other of their pieces of their franchise, which gets you involved. The League of Legends franchise is doing a very deliberate job in the last 12 to 18 months to be a much more approachable brand, to ensure they gather more and more people into their network. And of course, more people playing your game equals more money coming into you, right? And so it's kind of simple dynamic. So it's very interesting. Keep your eye on Riot Forge. If you haven't, head over. It's on the Nintendo YouTube channel right now. You can take an actual watch of the presentation. I thought it was fantastic. And if you're interested in Ruined King, check out our YouTube channel where I did a 30-minute Let's Play of it as well. Whew, man. All right, folks, I'm done for the day. Good night.
That was a lot to unpack there.
That was a lot to unpack, but I wanted to unpack it. All right. Jeff, what is his name? Jeff Knightley. What's his name? Jeff
Keighley.
Keeley, that's his name. He doesn't return my phone calls anymore, so I don't care what his name is. He's got apparently this thing called the Game Awards that he does every year, and the nominations. Small show. I mean, we've been invited a couple times. I'm like, no, I don't, Jeff. I don't show up for anybody, right? Like, get out of here. All right. Nominations have come out this year, and we're not going to run through every single nomination because there's a lot out there, and you can go to the website and check it out. But Jesse, I want you to kind of draw our attention to some things that maybe we as Nintendo fans might want to be aware of in relation to the awards. And also, as a reminder, the Game Awards are December 9th. That is a typical day that we stream. So guess what? Ladies and gentlemen, just like last year, we're live reacting to the Game Awards. You can join us. Come on over, get fancy, get dressed up, have a couple beers, and we're going to live react to the Game Awards December 9th here on Twitch and on YouTube. But Jesse, why do I care about who got nominated?
Because the Game of the Year, one of the nominees is a small indie game called Metroid Dread.
Tim, sit down. Don't jump up. Calm down.
Fine. I feel bad for all the other games on the list, though.
Yeah, I liked Tim's mock-up of what he thinks the game of the Game of the Year nominee should be.
Yes, all Metroid Dreads.
Yes,
there's no choice.
Yeah,
it's just Game of the Year. It was announced that day. There wasn't a nomination. It was
done.
Just here's Metroid Dread Game of the Year. It won. We won't even bother with any votes.
Yeah. Marvel's Guardian of the Galaxy got nominated for multiple things: best narrative, best score and music, innovation and accessibility, and best action/adventure, along with the Metroid Dread on that one. Where else am I? I'm scrolling up and down, poking around. Games for Impact, Boyfriend Dungeon has a nomination. Best ongoing, Apex Legends and Fortnite. Best mobile game, Pokemon Unite. Best community support, Apex Legends and Fortnite. See here, best role-playing game. A lot of people are saying that World Ends With You has been shafted on that, but and somehow Cyberpunk 2077 is on here. That's a laugh. But Monster Hunter Rise and Shin Megami Tensei 5 are in that category. Best fighting game has Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Best family game, not all Nintendo this year.
Yeah, now this is essentially the Nintendo category, but interestingly enough, one that is not Nintendo, but it's not shocking, right? But what do we got in that category?
So, Mario Party Superstars, New Pokemon Snap, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, WarioWare Get It Together, and the non-Nintendo game is It Takes Two, which is currently on Game Pass.
I'm going to be really honest with you. From what I have heard from It Takes Two, they may take this category from Nintendo. It Takes Two has a ton of critical acclaim buzz in the industry.
Justin,
yeah,
I voted for It Takes Two based on what I saw Sean and Nick play during Extra Life. Yeah, that game I think deserves it.
I want It Takes Two to come to the Nintendo Switch is what I want.
Yeah. But
the question is, can it handle the split screen?
Yeah, that's the rub, right?
Who makes that game? It's EA. Oh, of course. Never mind. It's not.
Well, I don't remember the developer, but it's the developer who designed. He always does.
He always does the
Joseph Ferris. Yeah. Joseph Ferris.
Yep.
Yeah, like he did the Jailbreak game a few years ago, and
Hazelight Studios.
Yeah,
is what the name of the developers are. So.
Okay, so Tim's favorite category, best sports/racing, Hot Wheels Unleashed has been nominated.
Yeah, best but I know which one's winning that one.
Yeah.
That racing.
Forza has no one else has a chance. Forza's in there.
Yep.
So, and note, I didn't highlight FIFA because the Switch version of FIFA is trash.
Right. And I will say this:
it's not the same game as what got nominated.
A lot of people have been upset as well about Forza Horizon 5 not being nominated for Game of the Year as well because of how great of a game that is. And I'd mentioned this to somebody on Twitter. They basically were like they were upset about Forza 5 Horizon 5 not being on the list. And I said, if Forza Horizon 5 was on the Game of the Year list, Metroid Dread would have had that much of a harder time being Game of the Year if that
It
game
would
was
have
in
that
there.
much hard time getting nominated
Yeah.
I'm-
Yes.
because one of those games would have had to have gotten kicked.
Very true. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm gonna okay. So let's finish this off, and then I want to have a
Yes.
conversation about a couple of these things. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, almost done. Best multiplayer: Knockout City and Metroid and Monster Hunter Rise. And the last game, the sequel to The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, is a nomination for the most anticipated game.
I always find that weird, right?
Going up against God of War, Ragnarok, and Horizon Forbidden West. So I think it's not a slam dunk for Zelda.
Yeah, let's give an award to something that hasn't done anything. I don't know.
Like all of these games, that was a hard one for me to vote on the most anticipated game because
I know that a lot of people are looking forward to Elden Ring, and I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
I might not be able to play all of them, but I'm looking forward to all of them.
That's fair. So let's have a little bit of a chat here. Game of the year, right? And so in our Game of the Year category, we have Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village.
Yeah.
Tim, do you, in your heart of hearts, legitimately think Metroid Dread is going to win?
No.
Okay, who do you think is going to win?
I think based on the community, the gaming community, it will probably be Deathloop or Resident Evil Village. Between those two. Now Psychonauts 2 was a really good name too.
Just because the public can vote, public isn't the only vote. They're only a small percentage.
Because
they have professionals.
You're right. Because of the professionals voting, and because of out of this list, Metroid Dread has the most prestige, if that's the right word to use, because I think Metroid's been on the. Metroid is a game that's been around longer than Resident Evil games, so it's even older there. And plus, with all the hype being 19 years to make it, and then when they brought it out, everybody for the most part really liked it.
And sounds like it's already beaten Prime as the best-selling Metroid game ever.
Right, and it's just
we won't know until February, but I think it's pretty much done already.
Yeah, I think there's a lot going for Metroid Dread, just for accolades, especially from peer to peer, if you will. I know there's a few others, within the community who panned Metroid Dread, but overall, I think Metroid Dread has a chance. I'll just say that. But these are a lot of good games on this list. It's not a slam dunk, say like Breath of the Wild was, I think. Although that wasn't even a slam dunk, because wasn't it going up against God of War as well that year? No, wait, God of War was a different year.
It was going up against Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild was going up against its own.
It was going, Nintendo was competing against itself, but still, it seemed like Breath of the Wild was more of a slam dunk than anything else, as opposed to this. It's like I could see any of these winning.
Yeah. Yeah, it should definitely be interesting. Some good representation from Nintendo and or games that are available on Nintendo platforms. It'll be interesting to see as I go through this. Like, there's definitely some ones that I'm like, yep, that'll get it. So yeah, I think it'll be very interesting. But again, December 9th, join us live here on Twitch and on YouTube. We're going to live react. Apparently, rumor has it, I saw there is kind of a well-known leaker who is saying that Nintendo is going to continue its celebration of Zelda at the Game Awards. What does that mean exactly? Don't know for sure, but it's a good opportunity to make sure we're tuned in. And that is
they're going to reveal a re-release of the 1989 Game & Watch.
Probably.
And I would love that. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted originally, not the Game & Watch we actually ended up with.
I will say this, that if Metroid Dread wins, I might jump out of my seat here. And
you might jump out of your skin.
Because I would be definitely excited for that.
Yeah, for sure. Excellent. Well, folks, again, that is the Game Award nominations. Let us know what you think. Who do you want to win Game of the Year? Chat, why don't you let us know as well over on Twitch? Maybe we can throw up a quick poll really fast. Could we? Maybe Jesse over in Twitch with those 5 games and ask people to vote as to regards to who they think. Oh, thank you, Tim.
You got it? Because I don't know how to do that. I do want to say, I do want to say, while I was going through and doing the voting, at the same time I was doing something with Dragon Quest Tact on my iPad, and I was doing something else in a browser on my desktop, all at the same time. All of a sudden, all 3 broke at the same time.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't vote anymore. My Tact disconnected and everything. I'm like, I went on Twitter and said, is AWS down again? Because multiple things broke all at the same time.
Yep, absolutely.
I never heard if it did, but I have a feeling that's what happened.
May have been. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. There's not enough spaces for the poll.
Oh no!
Is it only 4 slots?
They have 5 slots.
Interesting. Oh, okay. Just take Metroid Dread off because it's not going to win.
Well, everybody here in the Nintendo community would probably vote for Metroid Dread, so maybe I will remove that.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a good. It's a convenient work. All right, so let's talk on with our next topic. Now, this topic was actually voted on by our patrons right before our show. Every single about a day beforehand. We try to be a day beforehand at least, if not a couple hours beforehand.
An hour beforehand.
We sent out some show topics about what we want to discuss. And we have our patrons kind of help us direct and directly influence what we're going to talk about in the show today, which, again, another great reason to go over to patreon.com/NintendoDads and become a member. Hey, by the way, your Prime membership, that also works. So if you've got one of those, we'll take it. So today, Nintendo, out of nowhere, comes flying in and says that Nintendo has partnered with Panda Global for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Melee tournaments in 2022, making Panda Global the official partner, sponsored partner, supported partner by Nintendo for their Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Melee tournament. And there will be a circuit based in North America that will kick off in 2022 with more details about the events, the schedule, and the prizes to come in the near future. Who will go and represent the Nintendo dads on this behalf? But gentlemen, let's talk about this because this is really interesting, right? So Jesse, do you know like more about the Smash? Matthew's big into Smash, the tournament scene around it, right? Like did this like blow his hair back? Did this force him to go get his learner's license to drive to the circuit to compete?
I actually don't know if he's heard about this yet. And you are now.
How did you mute?
You are muted now.
Just killing my buzz there, aren't you? Like I was setting you up, and you're like, I don't know if Matthew knows.
Yeah. I think he would be interested. You know, if there's anything in our area. You know, I'm not, but okay. I'd go and watch him.
Sam, do you know much about the fight scene for Smash?
Whenever they have fights. Tournaments here, they have it at Umicon, which is a big event here. They will do tournaments and stuff like that. I don't know if it's going to be part of this, but that would be pretty cool if Panda Global does that here in Detroit. But usually a lot of that stuff is more at a regional city like Chicago, so we'd have to go there. But whenever we do have it at Umicon, I always, I'm hanging out there. The atmosphere in there is just something else to see. And even it's really cool because they'll have things set up off to the side. So even though there's people doing the tournaments up on stage or off to the side stages, they also have a ton of tables with a bunch of systems set up to where people can just play at the same time these tournaments are going on and stuff. So it's really cool to see that and be a part of that atmosphere.
Yeah, Evicel actually makes a great call out in the chat to talk about it. Nintendo is well known for shutting down non-sanctioned events of their Super Smash Brothers. I believe they supported the Evo tournament, the Evo fighting tournament, or the Evo.
Not at first, but then they did.
Not at first, and then they were kind of forced. They kind of eventually got into it, but it was like dragging them in, kicking and screaming.
Right. And then there was multiple events that were going to use a modded version for net play.
Yep. And Nintendo did cease and desist, right? So the fact that Nintendo has finally actually like a formally said come out and said, this is a partner, this is the one we're supporting, this is what we're doing, is massive for the Smash fans and massive for the Smash Brothers community. And I'm really excited to see what's actually going to be happening.
I'm not surprised that they're also including Melee in it, because I think Nintendo really wants Melee to die.
Well, I mean, this has kind of been the rumor is like,
but the community is so large that it will never die.
When did what platform did Melee come out on?
GameCube.
This is the GameCube? Oh, okay, never mind. I thought it was the N64. It's gonna be super smart there. I was like,
no, N64 was just Smash Brothers. No subtitle.
That's right. So, I think this is very interesting. Keep an eye on it. I'm fascinated to see more details here. I want to see what I'm not a fighter. I'd be horrible at that game. If you are someone in our community who's like, I want to represent Nintendo dads at this, let me know. All right. And when they got the circuit, we will be happy to carry our flag.
Yes. Becca mentioned it, and I was just going to mention it now. Y'all want to feel old. GameCube hits 20 today.
Which is really cool though. I saw this on Facebook. I don't know if Xbox did anywhere else, but Xbox is celebrating their 20th, right? But they also posted saying 20 years ago, this was like an awesome time to game. Yeah. It was the best generation because it was the Xbox, it was the Dreamcast, it was the GameCube, it was the PlayStation 2. And it was just all inclusive of everybody, and however you played, it was an awesome time to play games. And just, I thought that was really cool of Xbox to do that. So, and
Xbox just killing it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just killing it.
PlayStation jumped in and, they were saying, thanks, or they were like, yeah, happy 20th or whatever. So it was really cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yet they still won't cross console.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out. Legitimately, I'm going to say this right now. If you want to go rep the Nintendo Dads team, we will design and we will support an esports jersey that we should build for the Nintendo Dads. Right? We get sponsorship across the back from Manscaped and Gooder and put the crest on that, right? Like an actual esports team Nintendo Dad's jersey.
You might get my face in a profile somewhere.
Yeah, we could definitely look into that as well. I like that.
All right. Our vote just came up. It ended, and the votes.
Oh, I missed the vote.
Yeah,
it was 2 votes.
2 votes. Psychonauts 2 and Resident Evil Village.
I don't think our community understands how voting works.
Well, considering there's only 10 people in Twitch right now, that is a 20%, which is,
I know,
based on our local elections this last week, that sounds about right.
And that was taking Metroid Dread out too, because I'm sure those 2 people would have voted Dread.
Yeah, they're just rioting. They're like, no, we're not going to vote if I don't have Dread.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're like Activision Blizzard employees sitting out on the streets.
Ooh, yes. That should be something we should talk about in the post show. Again, another great reason to head over to patreon.com/NintendoDads for all the post show content. All right, let's talk about another thing that apparently Japan really, really loves Nintendo. So last week, Shin Megami Tensei 5 came out. Thank you. I slowed that down just for me, right? Like you heard me real struggle there. I was like,
I did.
Shin Megami Tensei 5. Oh, man. And so I want to ask Jesse.
Yes.
The numbers I'm looking at here, is this just for 1 week sales? Is this what this is?
Yes. Yeah. And the number outside the parentheses is 1 week sales. The number inside the parentheses is total.
Got it. Thank you. I appreciate that. So
in Japan only.
Japan only. Top 10 games. They here's the top 10 games, right? Number 10. And this is for all games sold in Japan, right? This is not just Nintendo, because you're going to listen to it and be like, it's just a Nintendo list. It's not. Listen. Number 10, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 9, Minecraft. Number 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Number 7, Animal Crossing New Horizon. Number 6.
And that is the Switch version of Minecraft specifically.
Yep. Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I apologize. Number 6, Call of Duty Vanguard from PlayStation 4. Number 5, Dragon Quest X for PlayStation 4. Number
Which I'm
4,
surprised that's still selling. 10. Maybe that's a new expansion that's recently launched.
No, that's on. Yeah, number.
Yeah, it is.
That's on,
it is new. It
okay,
launched on the 11th.
Number 4,
Go ahead.
Ring Fit Adventure. Number 3, Dragon Quest X for Nintendo Switch. Number 2, Mario Party Superstars.
Which
and
Switch version sold twice as much as PS4.
I know, right? And number 1, Shin Megami Tensei 5. What is going on over there in Japan?
They love Nintendo. It's a mobile console. It's
Well, they like their Persona and Shin Megami Tensei games too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now this is very interesting. Where in the UK charts we see that Shin Megami Tensei 5 actually entered in at number 9, and for example, Forza Horizon 5 entered in at number 4. So definitely different markets, though. Jesse, you want to talk a little bit more about this stuff and why this is important?
It definitely, the Switch definitely has the market share in Japan. I think I heard at one point it's like 85 to 90%. And, because Sony, the rules that Sony's had in place since 2018 has put a sour taste in a lot of the consumers' mouths, and Xbox really has never had a foothold. So it's all
Depends
been
like
Switch.
Xbox what?
Right. Now, and the thing is, I mentioned that, the difference between 3 and 5, the two Dragon Quest X games, Switch outsold PS4 2-1. Comparing the first game to the second game, Shin Megami Tensei 5 to Superstars, it's a factor of 3. It's like 143,000 units compared to 45,000 units.
Yeah, that is pretty intense. Tim, what are your thoughts on these numbers?
I'm just Japan's love for Nintendo, especially just supporting or showing how much Nintendo is loved there and why Nintendo does what they do isn't just because of them wanting to make us angry in the US or in North America. It's because of numbers like this or other data points that we don't get to see of, the number of people who actually play in handheld versus docked and all that kind of stuff. So, and then also too, why they made the
It's not easy, is it?
It's not easy. Game.
SMT.
Yes, SMT. When those games are here on the Switch first, I'm sure it'll go to other consoles eventually, but it's here first for a reason because they're popular.
SMT4 never went anywhere else. They stayed in the 3DS.
It's true. And who knows? I know a lot of people demand this stuff to come to PC, and there's been rumors about some Nintendo games, not their first party ones, but some Nintendo published ones coming over to PC. But who knows? But anyways, it's very interesting to see the numbers from Japan, even though we're not in Japan, because what happens to Japan does influence what Nintendo does overall worldwide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and and it's been mentioned in the chat, but especially in the big cities, Tokyo and Kyoto, no one drives. Everyone takes public transit. And what are you going to do while you're on the train? Play your Switch. Play on your phone.
So Shin Megami Tensei. That's
Yes.
how you're supposed to say it? Okay. I just needed a second to get it out.
Yeah. Needed a while to really work it through.
And then
Yes.
MSL commented based on what I said about Sony's practices. There's a game coming out for the Switch next week or week after called 20 Ladies, which is also coming out on PC and I think Xbox. That game is not coming out on PlayStation. Instead, they're getting a modified version called
Bunnies,
20,
right?
20 Bunnies.
That's right. I'd seen that one. Yeah.
Look at them just trying to filter their own audience. And Nintendo's like, we'll put anything on here. How the times have changed, haven't they, Sony?
It's
right.
flipped.
And people still say Nintendo is the kiddie platform. I'm like, have you not seen what Sony's doing?
Right.
Like,
Well,
even Doki Doki Literature Club got censored on the PS4 and not on the Switch.
Yeah. And in regards to the numbers too in Japan, it's not just the games, but just the weekly numbers for the Switch itself, as you're probably going to get to in regards to just it's the top 3 selling systems for the week. So, and I found that it was interesting that the Xbox Series X was number 8 with 350 units sold that week. And you know what beat it? You know what beat the Series X in Japan? The 2DS LL.
Yep.
Those
had more units sold.
How are they still in stores? They haven't made them, and they stopped making them 4 years ago.
But the other interesting part of it is that although the Series X, the top of the line one, isn't selling well, at number 5, Xbox Series S sold very well at 2,243 units.
Again, I think that's how many units shipped. So that's how many units.
Okay. Well, it's still shipped well.
Purchased. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in comparison, Xbox Series X in Japan sold 67,000 units total, and the Switch sold 46,000 units in 1 week.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's just numbers it's numbers again. You know how much fun we like.
Their total is almost 17.4 million units of Switches.
Yeah, very different dynamics and environments there as well. Right?
Yes.
All right. So a couple last things we want to talk about before we take a little bit of an ad break. Quick updates to let people know there has been a free Mario Kart Live Home Circuit 2.0 update available. It's on the eShop right now, and it allows you to connect 2 carts to one Nintendo Switch for a split screen multiplayer. And you can play any Grand Prix Cup with 2 to 4 players with the new Relay Race multiplayer mode, and a Luigi Cup with 3 new tracks, which also include Windmill Meadows, Music Broadway, and King Boo's Courtyard. And plus, finished within 3rd place in the Luigi Cup and unlock a new Poltergust G00 cart and the Spooky Horn. Boy, ladies and gentlemen, this update came at a very timely time.
Yes.
Right? Why is this such a timely update for this, Tim?
Because they're already cutting the price of the Mario Kart's live home circuit actual hardware, the vehicles themselves. If you get it on Black Friday, you can get it for like $50.
Yeah.
Which if I can find one, I'm going to get the Luigi one, because Sam's got the Mario one. If I can get the Luigi one for $50, I'm in on that, and we can hopefully race each other and have fun with this.
This is such a no-brainer, right? This is such a family-friendly move, right? Split screen, cooperative, literally on the couch. One of you gets to be Mario, one of you gets to be a Luigi. You can control.
Fantastic.
It's such a fantastic idea.
You've got a family who's got, say, 2 kids who share one Switch, and then instead of fighting over who gets to play with the Mario Kart, one kid gets Mario Kart, kid gets the Luigi Kart, and then you got it on the one Switch where you're just using the Joy-Cons to control it on the one screen.
I'm kind of concerned about the Bluetooth bandwidth with that, because knowing how much restrictions they had to put on when they added Bluetooth audio, now that they're having 2 video feeds Bluetoothed in,
it'll be interesting.
Into one Switch.
You don't know what's baked in that thing that they haven't turned on. Do you know what I mean?
It's magic.
It's Merlin's in there.
next Squashing Bugs update is just like, their 16 screen splits and all this kind of weird stuff going on there, right?
I think it's really cool, especially
there's some Izzy magic going on.
Exactly.
It's really cool that they didn't let it die. There's a 2.0 update with these excellent updates to it. So it makes it even more. I was going to hopefully get the $50 Luigi anyways, but this makes me even want it more. Yeah. So now how they market that, I don't know. Because it's like, I keep up on this stuff, but how do they let parents who don't keep up on this know that, hey, if they get 2 carts, maybe there's somewhere where they'll have a package where you can get Mario and Luigi in a package, Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I think it's great, though. But if you're a parent, as you're looking into, Black Friday, the holidays, this may be something for you to consider and a great deal to pick up. I'd highly recommend it as well. All right, I want to give you some quick game updates for you to be aware of, and then we're going to jump into a quick ad break from our sponsors. First new game release to be made aware of, Big Brain Academy, Brain versus Brain, and a demo is available right now. Jesse, you played it. There's a video up on our YouTube channel. You can take a look at that, and I'm sure you're going to talk about that more in what you've been playing, and has a release date of December 3rd. As if Marty has some magical power. Last week, we talked about Loop Hero and how he was waiting for them to hear what was going on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, wait no more. The folks over at Loop Hero decide to answer his call, and Loop Hero is hitting the Nintendo Switch officially on December 9th. It's available in your eShop right now if you want to pre-order it, and it's got a 10% discount as well. For the Canadian dollar price, it was like $17. I think in the US, it's probably about 15 or 14 as well. And Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp has a tentative date currently. I say it's tentative because it did move from early December, but it is now dated at April 8th, 2022 in the eShop's Coming Soon section. So not a formal
the Nintendo
date.
Website still says early 2022, but the eShop itself has the April 8th date on it if you look in the Coming Soon section.
Yeah, exactly. So that is kind of it for our news. Now, let's hear from our sponsors. Do we have a bumper for this, Jesse? Like a do-do-do-do-do-do?
No, I'll have to come up with something.
Okay. Could you play something? Because it just feels awkward. All right. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that a lot, actually. That's really good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are excited to partner up and we're very excited to partner up and introduce the Nintendo Dads community to Gooder. Gooder thinks gaming Gooder thinks gaming is fun, and your gear should be too. Gooder makes glasses that are fun, fashionable, and functional, and everyone can afford. Sunglasses for gamers, you may ask. Why? Because gamers go outside too. They also have special blue mirage glasses because apparently, ladies and gentlemen, blue light is bad for your eyes. Now, some scientists say it causes eye strain, fatigue, headaches, and tail growth. Let me tell you, I've been wearing my glasses by Gooder for 2 weeks, and I have not experienced eye strain, fatigue, or headaches, and my tail has stopped growing, which is fantastic. Just to be safe, Gooder makes these glasses with the ability to block blue light. Perfect for any screen, any face, and any light, especially the blue light. Now, they're designed to look good and fit comfortably on your face and under your headset. Whether you're working from home like I do, where I'm in front of 3 monitors for over 40 hours a week, in front of my computers all day, or you're looking to perfect your avatar. Some say Gooder makes the best gaming glasses ever invented. And I'm going to tell you right now, I would tend to agree with that. Listen, here's the deal, folks. The folks over at Gooder sent us these fantastic glasses over here at Nintendo Dads HQ. All of the hosts have got a set of them. And to be honest, we have all been wearing them for about 2 weeks. And guys, I don't know about you, I'm legitimately absolutely love these products. As I mentioned before, I sit in front of these screens all day. I have been finish work, 40 to 40 plus hours in front of these monitors is my work day. Then I've got a podcast. Then I'm jumping on here and streaming games. Then I'm playing with friends. I'm probably 50 hours in front of these monitors, and my eyes have been hurting. Like when I finish off my day, I find them very fatigued. Every morning I come to my office, I put my glasses on. These are it's not just a game glasses, by the way, with the blue mirage blocker. By the end of the day, incredibly enough, my eyes do not hurt as much as they used to. As a matter of fact, they don't hurt at all, which is absolutely incredible. Tim, you've been wearing yours. What do you think of them?
Yeah, mine has been helping me. I noticed with the fatigue stuff that you were talking about. So I have them on my desk for when I'm coming here to do my work all day because I'm staring at the computer all day. I have a bunch of little tiny devices I have to look at all day with screens on them to do testing on. And then when I want to do anything for the Nintendo Dads, I'm still on my computer. Or if I'm playing games, I'm looking at a device. And I've been wearing these, and I have not had any eye strain or headaches anymore, because there's days where I've been on it all day, I get those headaches, but I have not. Yeah. Now, I can't guarantee that's the thing. I don't know, maybe I'm just drinking plenty of water or something, but
sure.
I don't know. I'm just saying I've noticed a difference especially when I particularly wear these, and I don't have to I wear prescription glasses, but mine are I'm nearsighted, so I need to see farther. When I'm looking at the computer or these screens, I don't need to have my glasses on. So I put these on, and they're awesome.
Yeah, and the sunglasses are absolutely amazing too. Not only did Gooder send us these blue light glasses. They also sent us several sunglasses to wear. I love their
I
sunglasses.
love them.
They are fantastic. They've got that nice reflective lens. Jesse,
They
go
are,
ahead.
Yeah, they are dark. You don't want to wear those inside.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I took a picture of them on because I actually, when I'm driving, I have to have my glasses on. So with the particular ones I bought, which are the neon flux capacitor ones,
Yep.
the VRGs, that particular style, I am able, because my glasses, my prescription glasses, have a thin frame around them, so they're almost like a wire frame, pretty much. So I'm able to put these on over the glasses. Now, does that look cool? Probably not, but you can't tell they're there unless you really get up close, because again, I have thinner frames and stuff like that, so I can get them on underneath those glasses.
Kind of like what I'm
driving.
doing now. I have my prescriptions on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I can do that, and I know it won't work out for many that way. And if I'm just walking around outside, I don't need to have my prescriptions on. I can wear the sunglasses and stuff like that. So, but I really like the way they look. I don't look totally out of place wearing them, like I'm some dad trying to be cool. I'm wearing them because I like them.
Because you are cool, right? And with names like Professional Respawner, Insert Coin to Continue, Blue Shades of Death, we know there's going to be a pair that really speaks to you. And so we encourage you to go over and use the code NINDADS at checkout for 15% off at gooder.com. For the sunglasses, I want to say this. There is no slip. There's no bounce. They're all polarized, and they are absolute fun. So again, pick up your favorite Gooder Blue Mirage blue light blockers with some sick Gooder sunnies, so you're protected for your settings no matter where you're gaming. And if you want to support us in the show, get a few pairs for you, your family, your friends. Hey, it's Christmas time. I hear they're going to make fantastic stocking stuffers as well. Perfect time for the holidays. So get 15% off with code NINDADS, NINDADS, at gooder.com. That's 15% off plus free shipping with the code NINDADS, NINDADS, at GOODR.com. Look good, game gooder. And of course, we want to continue our sponsorship and our support and our partnership with our good friends over at Manscaped. Ho, 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 gentlemen. The time has come yet this year early for Manscaped, and the leading men's health engineering brand. Manscaped has just launched new products, including the all-new ultra-premium body wash and a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. It's time to give yourself, or someone who needs it, the gift of beautiful skin, hair, and balls this holiday season. Go to manscaped.com and use the code NINDADS, NINDADS, that's the same one as we use for Gooder, for 20% off and free shipping. Now, they've also launched their 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, which has some key ingredients with benefits that include they're hydrating, it's nourishing, conditioning the scalp, and strengthening your hair at the same time. 'Tis the season, gentlemen, to load up on your Manscaped products. So get yourself, your dad, your brothers, your friends, the best gift of all. Head over to manscaped.com and use the code NINDADS, NINDADS, and get 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Every guy out there needs to add Manscaped to their wish list this season. Jesse, back to you.
Well, before you go back to that.
Okay, Tim, back to you.
Before you leave this little ad thing, I know it's an ad read and stuff like that, but I do have to say that thankfully, I know Manscaped, everybody knows they sent us stuff to try out, but I've been buying their stuff because I like their stuff. I like the smell of it. I like the use of it and stuff like that. So seriously, not just because they are paying us this month to talk about it, but seriously, check them out. They do have some cool stuff that I've been buying before we got the sponsorship, and even buy beyond, because they're not sending us everything for free all the time. I'm still going and buying the stuff that I want. In fact, they even have some lip balm they just came out with that I just purchased because I wanted to try it. Because man, in the wintertime, my lips get really dry here in Michigan. So I'm going to give those a try.
Yeah, I was a user of Manscaped before they sponsored us as well by about a year and a bit. I loved their products beforehand. Yeah. It just happened to be, and the question. I mean, here's the thing: the question's going to ask, "Oh, you guys are doing sponsor reads for Manscaped and Gooder. What's going on?" Legitimately, here's our stance on it. We won't bring you products that we don't think would be valuable to you. Right? Or that kind of fits with our brand, right? Sunglasses, gaming glasses, that fits with our brand. All right. Manscaped, being middle-aged, getting hair in your ears, your nose, all over, matches with our brand, right? And we think these are products that we think you would like. These are products we use. These are products that we support as well.
Yeah.
So that's
And
kind
the
of
best of all, we can get that code so that you guys can save money on it, because
that's exactly
that's helped me save some money.
Exactly, right. Like they're gonna have some amazing Black Friday deals. And by the way, I love the fact that their deals, the discounts are stackable. Right. Yeah. They've already got 50% off on the site, by the way. You can get 50% off plus your 20% off. Whoa. Yes. Right. So there's some stackables as well.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Let's just jump into what else we got on the docket today.
Let's
discuss.
Yeah. All right. Tim, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, sure. So I saw this come up in the news feed, and I thought it was a very interesting topic that I know we've talked about lots about before already. And it's basically the same thing that Phil Spencer from Microsoft is saying. And he's saying he wants the gaming industry to embrace game preservation through emulation. So, and we've talked a lot about this already. I'll go over some of the key points that he mentioned in the article. And again, I got this through Gizmondo's article. Phil wants rights holders to embrace an industry-wide approach to emulation, where every modern console would be able to play thousands of classic games. He wants to see an industry standard that all companies can agree on. Not free, but via a Netflix-type app. May not be as profitable as re-releases, but would still be profitable for devs and pubs. Now, again, we've talked about this before because we even speculated when rumors and even when NSO was first announced that eventually we would see Nintendo's catalog of games open up and we'd get all those classic games to play. It hasn't come to
jokes on us.
Hasn't opened up as much as we would like it to, but the question is, are we on the path to this future? Although one part of it is that I know that's not on that path is the fact that Nintendo is going to be on Nintendo's consoles. It's not going to be anywhere else right now. And the only way that's going to be anywhere else is unfortunately through the more illegal means of emulation.
Right.
So basically, are we on the path for this, or are companies just too greedy to come together on this emulation strategy?
I think the biggest challenge will be like third-party games and licensed games, because a lot of those are in licensed hell, as we've talked about before. Like, we're probably never going to see 007. At least we've been saying we're never going to see 007 on an N64 emulator, but there's now rumors saying that it might be coming. But
right.
But so, and with your Rare owned by Microsoft, that'll be
right.
While Microsoft has been playing nice, doesn't mean they always will. So, but I think definitely for first-party games and first-party published games, definitely is possible because they've got the rights to them. It's just what happens to them after that, and
right. So that becomes a selling point, right, for each of these companies that have it. Is like, okay, if you want to play these games that we have on our console from other publishers, you can play all these games on any of those consoles, but you can't play Nintendo unless you are on a Nintendo console, or you can't play Xbox's library of games unless you're on an Xbox or in the cloud.
Here's a good example of just something that happened this week. Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 has been delisted just about everywhere. I think Xbox might have been a slow delister, but it's coming if it didn't already happen. Because
PlayStation, I think, is still out there on sale right now before it gets delisted.
It was PlayStation, that was the last one. But the reason being, there's like a one scene in the game that's a licensed video. And that license expired, so they have to delist the game until they can reestablish
redo the games or
reestablish the license or redo the games with a different video. So
what video is it that they
I don't know. I've never played the games, so I couldn't tell you. But that's just what I remember seeing. So that's the reason why it's things got delisted. Like Scott Pilgrim back in the PS3 and Xbox 360 era got delisted after a while just because the license expired and never got renewed.
Yeah, and
So,
certainly when you're making games back in that time, you weren't thinking of the future where, hey, we got to make this available later on. I mean, there's some things you do think about because we always talk about backwards compatibility for each new console that comes out. But then this all comes back to just preservation, gaming preservation. You can't play these games, especially the older ones, unless you have that hardware or a really good emulator.
and as we've seen, there are a lot of emulators out there that aren't that great.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Nintendo.
Yeah. Well, and we saw that too with even not Rockstar. Is it Rockstar? Grand Theft Auto. Having a hard time.
Those aren't emulated.
They're not emulated, but they're still having a hard time bringing back those games that came out on the PS2 and the Xbox 360 or newer systems and bringing them back out and reselling them, even doing that, because that was brought up. Like, yeah, the companies could just do a re-release and make it more profitable. But as we see here, even a re-release such as the Grand Theft Auto trilogy that they call it is having a hard time doing well on a Nintendo Switch because
and what hurts it more is they delist the old versions, so you can't buy the old ones anymore. You can't buy the games that work anymore. You can only buy the crap.
Well, I mean, I know they remastered it or whatever you want to call it for the GTA stuff though too. And
Warcraft 3 and I think StarCraft 2 had similar problems. Yeah. Or no, I think it was a remaster. I think a remaster of the original StarCraft. They delisted the old version, put up new versions, and the new versions are garbage.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. And even like when I get upset about EA not giving me Madden on the Switch, I mean, to me, I would have fun playing a Madden Rewind or something like that, where I could go back to the older games and play them. Even if it was, and I know licensing is an issue because of the Players Association and all that kind of stuff. But I as a fan, there's got to be something that could be done about those things that you would hope. I mean, they've worked through things. Different companies work through things, especially if there's enough. If money's to be made, they'll figure it out, essentially.
Right.
And I think that's where the thing is when it comes down to these, is if there's money to be made, then they'll come together to do it. And the selling point for each company's version of preservation will be that company's selling point, if that makes sense. So like, yeah, we have this, everybody has this pile of games that they can share on their consoles, but it's that company's own games, like Nintendo, that you will go to Nintendo's consoles to play because you want to play Nintendo's old games along with all those other games that you want to preserve and play. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think Xbox has done the best job so far within their own ecosystem and having pretty much every Xbox One game compatible, with good chunk of 360s and a good handful of OGs. Whereas PlayStation 5 has most PS4 games compatible, but then it stops. If you want PS3 games or PS2 games, you got to go with Now, which isn't the best service.
Now,
and at least up until the PS3 era, you could like buy PS1 games and
that's an interesting
play them natively, and then that went away.
That's an interesting thought though with the PS Now thing. Now, if they could get it right, if they could fix that, and you can play everything, say, from PS3 down to PS1, and you're paying for it, I would be willing to do that on the Nintendo side, where you've got this bulk library that I will pay you monthly fee for to have access to. I would do that. Now, I don't know if I'm alone in this or if there's other things, but that's what I thought NSO would be to a certain extent. I'd be paying monthly and maybe have to increase that to, like we see with the expansion pack, to add more systems to it. And I'm willing to pay for it, but
I'm not sure if that's something I'd pay for, just because, I normally have other ways to access these things.
Yeah.
But But if they put in games that are like hard to normally acquire, put in the Earthbounds.
SimCity for the SNES.
Yeah, then even if I subscribe for a month or two to play a few games and then cancel, at least I got some benefit out of it.
Right. Yeah. So I like where he's going with it, and I think it's just like everything we probably read when the Super Nintendo and the N64 came out, where there was all this talk about game design and all that being on one system at the time. I don't know if you remember that at the time. There was a lot of talk of making one system like a VCR or a CD player, where the music industry makes one format that works on one system, and then all of these different companies make the different systems.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to happen.
That was something that used to be talked about back in the day.
and people thought that we'd have it by 2020.
Right.
It does exist. It's digital.
True.
That is the system and the method that is the same for all of them.
Everything's streaming.
That's true.
Right?
Marty's not going to like that answer.
Everything through a digital app store.
Yeah.
That's the commonality of it now. That's the closest that we've ever seen to this kind of this idea of like every platform has this capacity.
Yeah, but you still can't buy Halo Infinite and play it on your Switch just because of the processor differences and compiler differences.
Not yet. Not until they bring cloud to the Switch.
Right.
One could dream, baby. One could dream.
Yeah. Ibisol says Gyromite. Okay, that's a game that's probably never going to be available any other way because of the requirement of Rob.
Or
not with an attitude like that.
Or Boktai, right?
Of course, I did say the same thing about I said back in roundtable days, we would never see a Pokemon Red and Blue virtual console because they'd have to rewrite the netcode, and I don't think they would be willing to do that. And surprise, they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, games that rely more on the hardware, like I was mentioning Boktai, that relied on the sensor that was in the cartridge.
Yeah, you had to go outside and get some sunlight.
That's going to be harder to do an emulation on unless they use time or, rewrite it so that's using more of the, your system's time or your network's time or whatever. That would have to be redone.
Or dedicate a button to the I'm outside button.
Right. So, or it has maybe there's sensors that are in the Switch, like the Switch uses the infrared camera to detect where you're at, type of thing. But it's just those type of things where it involves
actually
hardware.
Probably feasible if they can actually no, it's a sun versus an artificial.
True.
I'm not sure how sensitive that IR camera is.
It's done some amazing things, but that would be cool. See a new.
Yeah, you can play paper, rock, scissors.
All right. Well, Justin, did you have anything before we move on?
No, I think you guys kind of nailed that one, actually. I think preservation is a good idea. That's my summary of it.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right. I guess now on to events. Can you believe it? Can you guys believe this?
What can't I believe, Tim?
That Animal Crossing Pocket Camp is celebrating 4 years.
Oh my gosh. How did that happen? That seems incredible.
Time flies when you're having fun.
So much fun.
Do either of you still play Pocket Camp?
No, I'd rather pull my eyeballs out with a fork.
I don't think I ever downloaded it.
All right. Well, they are celebrating their 4th anniversary, and they're doing that by doing some in-game things. So they got some new campers. They got some extra items and materials from Gulliver's ship. It says something about load up some extra items and materials on Gulliver's ship, then send him to the 2 new islands that will become available, Lone and Pals Island. So Nintendo Pals has an island in the Pocket Camp, it looks like. And Shino and the Nintendo Pals Island, when the ship returns, you'll get souvenirs, and the maps need to unlock each new camper will be among the rewards you can obtain.
It's just
if you're still playing that,
you just keep bringing back Plock as the reward.
That's right. So if you're still playing that, I mean, good on you. Good on you. And let us know if this was a waste of your time bringing this up or not.
Not this podcast necessarily, but just in general.
Just this event. No, but I thought it was interesting, because it is going for 4 years. We do have a lot of Animal Crossing people out there, and we have our own Dad Crossing team. They do their Animal Crossing stuff, and that channel's been going crazy in Discord. I have not seen anybody talk about Pocket Camp in there, but who knows? Maybe this gets them back in there, or there's other listeners out there who do play Pocket Camp on their mobile phone because that's what they're able to play on at the time. So I thought that would be interesting to throw out there. And also, since there was no Pokemon Minutes, I figured I'd throw some Animal Crossing Pocket Camp in there.
Smart. Very smart.
That's it for the events.
There was some Pokemon Go news, but I'm like, nah, I don't think I need to talk about it this week.
All right. Well, let's jump into what we've been playing. All right. Jesse, can you tell me more about Big Brain Academy Brain versus Brain demo?
Yes, I downloaded it. Was it last night or the night before? I forget when. But I downloaded it the night it launched and was on stream. I think it was only like 15 or 16 minutes. So it didn't give all. Most of the time was set up, just setting up my profile. And like one of the questions was, it wants to know my date, birth date. So I didn't share my birth date on stream, though it did still tell you what my age was. And along with it, you kind of give like a saying, like a greeting type of saying, and then what's your occupation, using very Japanese like tags.
Okay.
So it's like middle schooler, high schooler, office worker. And so there wasn't anything really more specific than that. There was one that was like business owner. I almost chose that one, but I just went with, and I think like I'm not quite management, so I went with the office worker one.
Hey, you can be, dream. You could just dream that, Don't cut yourself down. That's what we do. You shouldn't do that to yourself.
Good point. Anyway, so once you finally go through the setup, it gives you the main menu. It shows you all the screens of what the main menu of the full game will be like. One of them is completely locked off, doesn't even tell you what mode it is. Most of the other modes, it'll show you what it is, but it's still locked down. It only gives you access to one mode where you can, play some single player games or some multiplayer games. And you can choose between touchscreen, playing with Joy-Con, or Pro controllers. I haven't obviously I couldn't stream touchscreen, so I did it with the Pro controller and only played the single player games where I think they have like 14 or 15 different games you can available, but only 3 of them you can play in this demo. So I played a game of each of them, one of which was, I'm trying to remember, like they had silhouettes flying around and I had to choose which object was in the silhouette. And it started out easy and it got more and more complicated when it added more characters, moved them slower, and they're constantly overlapping. So it's really hard to distinguish them between them. One of them was you have to choose the numbers from low to high, like on these balloons. And these balloons are various sizes, but the value of the number doesn't correspond to the size of the balloon. So you can have like a big number 4 and a small number 81. So you have to tap them, 481. You have a time limit. The more you do, the more points you get. If the more levels you clear, the difficulty will get harder. The event got to the point where it started throwing in negative numbers at me. So I had like negative 81, negative 36, negative 12, 5, 81, things like that. And of course, that game would be a lot faster on touchscreen. Some using the Pro controller to even, I had to move it just to get a cursor to show up. It defaults to you don't have a cursor at all, and then you got to move it to where you need to. So it's going to slow me down a little bit.
Gotcha.
And I don't remember what the first game was at all, so I can't speak to that one. That was the one I did the least well on, So I probably didn't leave an impression. But again, so that and then when you're done with each of the games, it says you want to go to the eShop page. If you choose to do so, you can pre-order it. I think it's $30 for the whole game.
Do you think based on what you've seen, is it worth it?
I think so.
Okay.
If it was 60, I would say no, definitely not. But they have it priced as a budget title, and it has what I would expect from a well-made budget title.
It's kind of nice for them to be recognizing it's a budget title, right? Nintendo is typical to like more likely try and gouge you, right? More than anything else. But for them to recognize it's a budget title
Yeah,
is kind of a
kind
nice.
of remind, kind of like the Voice of Cards. That was also a budget game,
Mhm.
and I probably would have paid $60 for that one. But
Right.
I did play the hell out of it and maxed everything out. But definitely glad it was a cheaper price. So yeah, I think I'm still on the fence whether I'm going to pick this one up or not.
Mhm.
This and Danganronpa, they both come out on the same day. So it depends on what's going on with the other games that's coming out next week, I guess.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. I see you have another game, a couple other games on here as well.
Yeah, so the next game I want to talk about, I talked about this a few weeks ago, the Zelda 2 Amida's Curse. It's a ROM hack of the original Zelda 2, which kind of gives new maps, new overworld, new dungeon layouts, new art for the dungeons, and new music. So I was playing it along with one of our patrons. He's the one who recommended it to me, and I don't think he ever finished it, but I got to when I stopped 2 weeks ago, I got to a stuck point where I kept on getting hit by flying things that knocked into the pit. In fact, I think I tried playing it a little bit during Extra Life and had the same problem. Then I realized, oh, this is a fairy dungeon. The game probably wants me to just turn into a fairy and fly over everything. So when I did that, I was able to pass that dungeon, and then there was like 2 extra dungeons after that that I beat. So I did end up completing the game, and
Oh,
that was
nice.
fun. So it definitely is easier than the original Zelda game. It really does. It doesn't kill you at the end, like with the brutal difficulty. If you're familiar with the original game, then how you approach each enemy's similar. But I think things like the Firebird, I think they made that easier because I remember when I played that earlier this year on the NES Classic, no, on the NSO, I had to exploit the rewind function a dozen times before I could beat it.
Mm.
Where I played this on the NES Classic, it doesn't have a rewind feature, but it does have a save state feature. So I did make a save state before that boss and had to reload it 2 or 3 times, but at least it wasn't 12 times. But I also made a save state before the final boss, and I didn't even need it.
Nice.
Wow.
So yeah, if you're interested in ROM hacks, give that one a look. That one looks pretty good. In fact, I also picked up a new release of Final Fantasy VI ROM hack that I plan on playing if I can find the time.
What's
It
the hack for that one?
it I don't remember the name of it. I have to look it up. But apparently, it's a very popular ROM hack in Japan, which does add new summons, new quests, new areas
Mm.
to explore, and it kind of smooths out the difficulty curve.
Hmm.
And what the recent release is an English translation patch to the Japanese ROM hack.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I caught my attention. So I think I'll
Gotcha.
try some of that next week and see how it goes.
Cool.
Okay. And then the last game I wanted to talk about again is Hex Seed. I've talked about this the last few weeks. Hex Seed is a free to start, free to play game, which you get like 600 or 700 puzzles. It's kind of like Minesweeper, but on a hex grid instead of a square grid, which then also adds some extra rules to it. It's not just straight how count the adjacent squares.
Should this
Otherwise,
be
you'd
on
be.
the Switch?
This is on the Switch.
Oh, this is on the Switch. Okay.
Yeah, this is on the Switch. It's it's a free to play for the first like 500 or 600 puzzles. And then
Okay.
they have 12 DLC bundles released that started on the last Friday of October when the game launched, and a new one will release on the last Friday of every subsequent month until September next year. You can buy them one at a time for $1 each, or season pass it for $9. I chose to opt in for the $9 and played through the first season pass. So I've completed the game up to this point. I can't do anything else other than replaying existing puzzles. And it does tell me that the next set, if I go to where the next set of puzzles will show up, it says these will unlock in 6 days and 3 hours, or whatever the time is.
I'm gonna have to look into this because Nora really likes Picross games, like you do.
She'll like this then.
So
yeah, and again, the base game is free. No
Okay.
reason to not download it and give it a try.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to
And-
send this over her way.
And then, even if you like it, the most money you'll ever put into it is $12.
Right.
And like, even
Right.
if they charged me $12 for the base game and free DLC, I wouldn't have been upset at paying $12 for the base game.
It'd be
Yeah, that's
cool if
all.
I could get that for as a gift. Like if there was some sort of digital code I could get for her to get the $9
Right,
thing.
but you can't really do that on the Switch, and especially if it's a free game.
Yeah. Be nice if I can do that, Nintendo. Come on, Doug. I know you're watching. I know you watch all our podcasts, just in our whole, community of podcasts.
Okay, that's what I've been playing this week.
Nice. Tim, how about you?
So I've been playing some more Animal Crossing, just a little bit, not as much as our community has been because I've been busy with work and moving stuff. So, but it is a good game to jump into late at night, when I want to sit and relax. I can just sit there, catch up on some of the redesigns I've been doing on my own island. I haven't even touched the happy designer thing, I haven't even touched that yet. I just still been having fun with the 2.0 stuff that has come through. So, and in fact, I even met what's her name as part of the DLC, where she comes to your airport and you get introduced by Tom Nook and stuff like that, and he's like, "Oh yeah, just fly to our island and then say you want to do your work." I'm like, "Okay," and I haven't done it yet, so I haven't done that DLC stuff yet. But I'm just happy to be back in Animal Crossing. It's still fun, so especially with these new updates. I've been playing more Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic because I never got to play it when it originally came out. So I'm so happy it's out for the Switch. I can play that on the go, keep playing. I can save it at any point in the game and come back where I left off. And that is perfect for me in RPGs. So now, yes, I know with Breath of the Wild, I haven't jumped back into that and beat that one yet. But Knights of the Old Republic, I don't think is as long of a game as Breath of the Wild. So I'm having fun being able to jump into that as well. And I know that with Death's Door coming soon and knocking at my door in the coming week or two, I'll be probably playing that too. So that will probably get moved down. But it is something that's still on my Switch, and I'm still loving the story that I'm playing and or following along in that game. So again, I highly recommend it. If you haven't played it yet, or if you haven't played in a long time, this is a very capable, very good looking game for the Switch for playing on the go, this game. So, and then finally, if you know me in the games I like to play, I love playing racing games. So I had to play Forza Horizon 5. I had to. So I fired that up via the cloud, via my PC, through the browser. And for one, I got my controller hooked up through the USB plug, but for one, it's playing great. As if I had an Xbox. I did not have any problems, no slowdowns. I'm driving super fast and it's running great. So it's thumbs up to, again, Microsoft for doing great on their cloud gaming stuff. Now, I haven't tried it on my phone yet. So, and that's wireless. So with my computer, it's hardwired. So through the ethernet. So I imagine that helps, but I do want to try it, see how it works out when I try to play it on my phone as well through the cloud. But I have to say, this game is phenomenal. I can see why everybody's loving for Forza Horizon 5. And it's just what I've been playing so far. It's absolutely great. In fact, I tried Forza Horizon 4 when I got xCloud, and I liked it, but it still it doesn't feel the same as 5. I'll just say that. As soon as I got into 5 and the way they drop you into the game and how you start playing it and how you get into it, it seems similar to 4, how I remember starting off in that game, but everything just seems smoother. Everything seems more intuitive. And I'm just having fun. Whereas 4 felt still more of the simulation side to me. 5 does not. And you can switch the game to be more simulation if you like simulation. Where here I still have it set to, I think, standard settings, to where I still have some assistance on where it shows me where I need to brake or take a corner a little slower and stuff like that. And because I don't play Forza games that much, that helps me tremendously, and it helps me to have more fun with this game. So if there's any way that you can play this game and you like racing games, I highly recommend you jump into Forza Horizon 5. I know it's not a Nintendo game, but hey, it's excellent. And maybe if things are running well, maybe I can do some recording of it and put it up on as well, so you guys can see how it runs through the cloud.
Well, Tim, speaking of non-Nintendo games brought to you by the cloud, this week, if you've been playing Forza, I'm going to be transparent with you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Xbox dads, because I was playing some Halo Infinite this week as well. It shadow dropped on Monday. I shouldn't say shadow drop because there was some kind of rumors about it beforehand, as Xbox celebrated their 20 years, and I thought they did a great job with that. So I got an opportunity to play it. And again, I am playing it on Game Pass. Now, the game is actually free to play, I believe, to everyone, regardless of actually if you have Game Pass or not. Am I correct on that, Tim? Do you know? I'm pretty sure it is.
You probably need Game Pass to access it on streaming, but...
Oh, I missed the thing. I was reading someone's comment. So
it's okay. I am fairly sure Halo Infinite is free to play. Like, completely free to play.
Oh, completely free to play.
Yeah, you don't need Game Pass to access it or anything, I believe. Can you double check that? But nonetheless,
I will double check that.
I have Game Pass Ultimate, so I actually fired it up on my laptop. I jumped in for, I like my Apex Legends, I like my Fortnite, I like my Overwatch. So you bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to jump into some Halo, and that's exactly what I did. And ladies and gentlemen, I am here to tell you, I am not very good at Halo. It's been a while since I played Halo multiplayer, and it could show. And I will tell you, I was playing it again. I was playing it on the cloud beta gaming. I played it on my Lenovo ThinkPad here. There were some glitches. I had definitely some connection issues. We were talking about in the pre-show that maybe my computer's just a little bit outside that reach. But I have a video right now. We have a video on our YouTube channel. You can watch that as well. But then actually later, man, the future of gaming is so crazy. I opened up my my iPad, connected my my Xbox controller to it, and I was playing it on my iPad, which was a really cool experience. Such a revolutionary, again, the idea of play anywhere. Halo Infinite was
Halo Infinite is free for the multiplayer part. The campaign is $60.
Yeah, completely free. So if you are like a person like me who likes multiplayer shooters, you can pick this up right now for free. There's a battle pass. You can monetize all that good stuff. Things that you're similar with PUBG or Apex or Fortnite. Same methodology. I love the fact that I can jump with members of our community. I can play. I can jump with Sean Capri. I can play with some friends who I know have Xbox. That is such an awesome thing, and I'm really excited for that. So Halo Infinite, very, very cool. I'm sure next week I'm going to talk more about that with Sean.
They have the multiplayer, how they're making the money, like you said, is through the different currencies that you can buy in the game. So like there's, $5, $10, $20, $60, and $100 for whatever this currency is, the Halo credits that you can buy. Yep.
Blurpy24 YouTube, how are you playing on your iPad? So I went to my browser and I typed in Xbox Game Pass Cloud, and I have the cloud game. I have Game Pass, so I have the cloud access to it. And then you kind of install the launcher to your desktop of your iPad. I have an Xbox controller, which I Bluetooth synced it, and I was off the races. It was done and dusted in less than 3 minutes. So that is how you can do it. There are some great videos out there as well. Super easy to sync up as well. Such a cool idea. Well, talking about Nintendo games I've been playing, as I mentioned earlier, I have been playing The Ruined King, a League of Legends story. This is a strategy RPG. This is a big game. It's like 11 gigs, pretty close to 11 gigs to download. They do a tremendous job in the art direction, the storytelling. And it is what you would traditionally see from an RPG or strategy RPG. You're building a party, you're leveling up, you've got special abilities. You can actually change the impact of your abilities, and that will actually change where you are kind of on the timeline. This is of who's going to strike next, right? So do I want to do a light tack, which kind of cools down and get more of them quicker, or do I want to do a heavy? There's some very, very cool elements to it. I've put about 2.5 hours into it. I've really been enjoying it. The other part of it is I will say that, and I've only 2.5 hours and I've met 3-4 characters. And then as you so I'll say this, they start off with like one character, you learn the backstory, you get like some cool cinematics, some cartoon cutscenes, some really great voiceover work. You kind of have a scene with her. And then it's like, they cut to another character later, a new character, and you get the backstory, the scene, like a lot of this cut cinematics, a lot of interstitial that are shown in some big story cutscenes, which are great. And the stories are cool. The art direction is cool. All of it's very cool. But I'm like, I feel of this 2.5 hours that I have been playing, I would say 50% of it feels like it's been cutscenes that I have watched to create this. But I love the world that they're building. It's very, very cool.
Kind of normal for our bigger for RPGs. Like if you start off a Persona game, like you can go an hour before you actually go into a fight.
Yeah, and I know, Jesse, you and I don't agree on a lot of games, and that's okay because I have good taste. But here's what I would suggest, right? I'd recommend you take a look at this because I think you're going to like it. And again, I think it's on Game Pass.
I don't think it is.
Okay, I thought it was. Okay, I could be wrong. But yeah.
I'll check on the console. On the web is kind of hard to tell.
Okay, check it out because I really do think, as I look at it, I'm like, I think this is definitely a game that you would like. I know that, like Chris Tale, you and I liked, which was kind of interesting at different points, but I think you might like this one.
Well, I like the demo. I never got around to playing the full game.
Okay, well, there you go. You should try it. So I would definitely recommend Ruined King, a League of Legends story. The other game that I have been playing, and Jesse, you played this game also, is The Wild at Heart, which was or is currently available on Xbox Game Pass as well, correct?
Still, I think I actually... No, yeah, this was a Game Pass game. I didn't purchase it. Whether it still is or not, I can't say. It probably is. They probably have at least a year before they get phased out.
Yeah. It launched this week, and it also launched on PlayStation as well. This is a heavily inspired, there is no doubt, Pikmin orientated game.
Yeah, as I said, it scratches the itch.
Yeah, if you have a Pikmin itch, of course, get yourself checked by your doctor. But this definitely does it. This is a very cool game. I love kind of the art style that's going, but you are collecting, as opposed to Pikmin, they're known as spiritlings, and you have the ability with your spiritlings to command them to break stuff, collect loot, fight enemies, build new paths. Sound familiar? Because it sounds like Pikmin, right? Jesse, how far into it did you get?
I finished it.
Do you mind me asking how long it was? Do you remember off your top of your head?
Thinking in the 20 to 25 hour range. Maybe I'm guessing high.
Yeah, so I'm a couple hours into it. I'm going to say this as a and we have a Let's Play of it coming out tomorrow. Check it on our channel.
If I remember, I'll try to load it up and see what my playtime was, if it still shows me.
Within the first 10 minutes or 5 minutes when you're introduced to this character, it grabs you. Like it instantly, I think, as a parent, as a father, the story grabs you very, very quickly, and you're very engaged emotionally. And they have a beautiful art design, beautiful art design, beautiful use of music and score and background sounds to begin to tell the story without telling the story. And the detail in regards to like what's in the room, what's in the house, what's around you begins to paint a scene, and you immediately begin to jump to conclusions beforehand. And it's really, really interesting. I will tell you, like I said, like if you watch my Let's Play within the first 5 minutes, I'm like, I almost feel like I'm going to start crying. Like this is a really amazing story. I'm having a ton of fun with it. Again, if you have that Pikmin itch, this is so Pikmin in a action adventure exploring game with kids. And it's also like this, like, it feels like it's set kind of in the early 90s, maybe like early 90s. Cause in this kid's room, there is a, like, I want to believe X-Files poster that I remember having in my room as a kid. Like I literally had that poster. He has like a Super Nintendo laying down on the ground. He has to pick up I think it's called the Game Bunny, which is obviously a play on the Game Boy. I'm also very curious if there was a different version created for Xbox or PlayStation. I don't know.
I'll have to look because I don't remember. He's got this
backpack, which is like, again, if you want to talk about inspiration, this is literally the Poltergeist backpack from Luigi's Mansion. Like it sucks things, it blows things. Like this game takes some of the coolest elements from Nintendo franchises like Pikmin, like Luigi's Mansion, pulls it together. It's so cool and kind of quirky and kind of crazy and weird, but I am loving it. Like both these games, Ruined King and The Wild at Heart, are completely opposites of each other. The Venn diagram that they share is they are both on the Nintendo console, but they are both tremendously cool games, and I would absolutely recommend both of them. The challenge I have right now, and I think Jess, you talked about it as well, and Tim, we've literally got Death's door knocking at our door in a couple of days from now, and I know we're all excited to jump into that as well. But do not miss, do not sleep, do not pass on either of these games. That is The Wild at Heart and Ruined King. And of course, maybe you're like me, you like to use the wish list. Maybe put these in a wish list right now. Maybe it'll go on sale in a little bit when you have more time. These are absolute don't miss. And if you're wondering more and you want to see more, head over to our YouTube channel where I have Let's Plays and first looks of both of those games. The Wild at Heart's coming out tomorrow. Ruined King, I believe, was launched yesterday as well.
Yeah, Death's Door comes out on Tuesday.
And Death's Door comes out on Tuesday. And then Loop Hero comes out the week after. I mean, like, come on. We are getting just bombarded with amazing content. Yeah, and
I think the Loop Hero is the TGA day.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Wild at Heart, console only on Game Pass. Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. I see that as well. The Wild at Heart. Yeah, it's very, very cool. But heavily
Game Pass does have it on PC as well.
Okay.
So because it does say PC.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is what we have been playing. Let's jump into the community spotlight. Timothy, do you want to continue to run this one for us for a community spotlight? What's going on?
I sure can. I'd be happy to. For the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts, the updates are as follows. Retro Logic, of course, that's Dan, Datfast John, and Third Strongest Mole Sam. They host this week's episode number 58, and they talk about Blast Corps, retrospective feature featuring our very own friend Hambone Johnny, or how Sammy likes to call him, Bone Johnny. They also talk about a new game on their show, and they play a new game on the show called Spot the Fake. So not just Price is Retro, they also have Spot the Fake. And then what game is deeply meaningful to you is their topic, and it features our friend from All In podcast, $2 Hero Seth. And don't forget to go to their retrologic.games site to see what kind of merchandise they have, as well as read their blogs, which Sam does a really good job at doing there. We also have our NINDADS After Dark guys who have episode 71 out there. And this week you can score with the dads. And that's not just scoring, but that's the candy bar score. Because they talk about candy bars.
I see what they did there. Tricky.
Yes. So the holiday season is in full swing, and John and Drew are ready with possibly the weirdest topic set yet, but it's going to be so much fun, they said. So they have 8 topics where they talk about how scary is the strangers, the Legend of Zelda Game & Watch is here, and it's spectacular, problematic save points in gaming, Minecraft drama and being a parent as kids reach the teen years, or as kids reach the teen years, Guess That World Record, Candy Bar Taste Test Club, Nintendo games that you loved but just can't play a second time, and number 1, their Holiday Mayhem tournament announced. Speaking of which, the Holiday Mayhem tournament that they announced is the monthly Mayhem that they run for us here at the Nintendo Dads, and they've done for how many years now? Probably two.
Yeah.
It seems like forever now, but
I think this is the 3rd holiday season.
Yes, so they've got 2 games going right now. They have a versus play online using, and this is both sides are using the newly NSO expansion pack stuff. So one side of it is versus play online, which is using the N64 Mario Tennis game, where you have to sign up by tomorrow if you're watching now or listening now, or if you're listening when we drop in the podcast by hopefully today, Friday, you have to sign up by 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If not, you're going to have to sweet talk the gentleman to see if they'll let you in. But it's a head-to-head Mario Tennis, and more wins equals more points, and the winner gets $15 eShop credit. The other option is to do solo play offline of the Genesis game Gunstar Heroes. So play Gunstar Heroes as one player. You play the game Gunstar Heroes, you get 1 point. Each level completed is 5 points. Beat the game, you get a plus 10 points, and total points equals 30. And you're entered into the lottery drawing for Gunstar Heroes. And the lottery drawing, of course, gets you $10.
Yeah. I'm not eligible for the prize, but I might check that game out.
Yes. So you have a couple options, and you can do both. It's just whatever the higher points are is what you'll get your prize for, because you can't win both. All right, moving on. Game Pass news. Sean and Nick do episode 28, and actually that will drop sometime this weekend, I think, where they talk some Xbox news, including the Xbox's 20th birthday. They also talk some Halo with their special guest, Luke Lore, our friend as well, Insipid Ghost. They had him on, and they had a good time. I got to catch the towards the end of their live broadcast of the show, and it was pretty cool to see Luke on there, and they all looked like they were having a good time. So I believe you can go watch their replay of it on their YouTube channel, and probably still up on their Twitch channel as well. Or you can just wait for their podcast to drop this weekend. And then last but not least is the dinner table. If you're listening to this will be going live Friday night. That's tomorrow if you're watching live, or tonight if you're listening when it drops Friday. Or you might have missed it, and you can look for the podcast feed. But in any case, we got the dinner table going live, where we will be doing all about Metroid Dread spoilers. So there will be nothing else talked. Well, we'll talk about other things, of course. So whatever naturally comes, we'll talk about it. But the main topic, the main dish for this episode is the Metroid Dread spoilers. I will be going through screenshots and videos of what I was able to take through my gameplay to help kind of guide our discussion and our conversations through it, and just have a good time talking about it. So it could be a couple hours. It could be all night. I could be, closing up shop at 6 o'clock in the morning when we're done talking about the game. Who knows? However long it takes, however long everybody can survive. But that will be this month's dinner table episode. And again, it drops every third Friday of every month is when we do the dinner table. And you can join. You don't have to be a podcaster to join. You can be a Patreon or a Twitch subscriber in our Discord and come chit chat with us during those dinner tables. And that is it for the family of podcasts.
Wow, that is some great stuff. Some amazing content as always for people to jump into. All right, let's jump into our questions from the community.
Yeah. No more bumper. No bumper here.
Come on, buddy. That's a good one. I like that bumper, but like, seriously. All right. All right. Mecha Dragon asks, first time for everything, but here I have a sort of vent email to send to you, dads. No, not to you, but to the state of PS5 and the other next generation consoles, to be exact. It's been about a year since the Xbox Series S and X and PS5 came out in the market, and they're still next to impossible to purchase, especially on the PS5, which Sony claims has sold millions, but yes, most are probably in scalper's hand. When these consoles first came out, I knew it wasn't the right time to release these things. We were still in peak COVID, and the chip shortage had only started. I can tell from this that it would have spelled disaster for these next-gen consoles, and I was right. Now, it's been a year, and it hasn't been any easier to get these things. In fact, Best Buy recently thought it'd be cute to start a $200 subscription just to give you a chance to buy the darn thing. Honestly, got to the point where just looking at a PS5 kind of gets me upset now. Call it jealousy, I guess. I go on forever, but I'll stop here. I guess my question to you dads is, this week, this is the week that after a year has passed, do you still think it has a good time for Sony and Microsoft to release their consoles, or do you still believe that that it's time for an upgrade? Sorry to mess the words up there. Looking forward to the thought. So did Microsoft and Sony make the right call to upgrade when we did in what we know to be true now? Gents, what do you guys think?
I don't think Go ahead, Jesse.
Go, you go.
I was going to say, at this time of everything going on, there is no right time. What they did, I think, is what they had to do and just get it out there. And yes, there's a chip shortage and all companies are dealing with it. Not just Sony, not just Microsoft, not just Nintendo, but everybody is. Everybody's having a hard time getting their cars out, getting the seats out that heat those cars. All these components that require chips are having a hard time catching up just because everything shut down during COVID. You know, we knew that was going to come, that something was going to.
Well, here's the argument I would kind of maybe say to that, Tim. So if we think of November 2020, and COVID really began kind of March 2020 is when the world began to lock down. Both these companies had been kind of beginning their marching towards this date of November 2020, not knowing what was on the horizon, not knowing what COVID was, not knowing the impacts of COVID, how long COVID was, right? They had these things kind of set in motion. So, you know, when we look at like that time, they didn't know there'd be a chip shortage, right? The chip shortage began after they had already gone into production. And that problem has only become further kind of grown over the last year. I fully believe that Microsoft and Sony were probably hoping that COVID would have been done by now. Chip shortage would have been resolved, right? Yeah. And that you'd have them on it. But as we're moving into a second year of a global pandemic, right? I think, unfortunately, the reality is they made a call knowing they made a decision based on what they knew then to be true, right? And that's the reality of all these things, whether we're parents, whether we're companies, whether we're governments, we make the best decisions we can with what we knew to be true at the time. And I think both Microsoft and Sony did that. Do they wish they had more? Yeah, I'm sure they do. Right. Like, you know, I think the argument more than anything else, Mecca, could be, did Nintendo make the right decision to create a brand new console, the OLED, smack in the middle of a
something we don't know about too was the chip shortage an impact on their decision to do the OLED, or what we know as the Nintendo OLED, versus the Super Switch with a newer processor. But because they couldn't get these processors, they decided, well, let's back that up. Let's just do the newer screens and call it a day. Yeah. We won't know that until 10 years from now. But, you know, everything's impacted. And my saying is that Yeah, they could have said, you know what, we're not going to release it that Christmas in 2020 and postpone it to this Christmas, let's say. But they still would have been impacted because then they wouldn't have had any chips and they probably would have had to postpone it even further.
Well, and you have to remember, like, and also game development, the marching orders they were kind of given for the games they were developing also were like, hey, build for PlayStation 5, right? Miles Morales has to be at launch date, right? These things are lockstep in those decisions that they're making, right? It's unfortunate that you still can't get the consoles, right? And that does suck, right? When you want them and you can't get them, that absolutely is tough to handle for sure.
Yeah, I think yes, they needed to, because the PS4 and the Xbox One has been on a down, selling less, as the Switch recently launched and selling more.
Yeah.
And so they needed to get new life into it. But had they not and continued with the last generation, I think we'd still have the same problem, just with the PS4 and the Xbox One as opposed to PS5. They would still have chip shortages and shipping problems, and I think they would still sell out whatever they can get out. Is just would be the previous generation.
We would definitely see what we're seeing with the new systems that are coming out now, like the Play Date and the Steam Deck, all being delayed a few months, and the Miko. Yeah. So because of all of these, they can't get chips. So these are all being pushed forward. So they got in because, one, they were already planning to do it. Not like they had to get in sooner in order to avoid this. This was already in the works. This was something they were already planning on doing. And just so happened they got in while there was chips available, while they already had their supplies. And then now their supplies are running out because of the COVID pandemic, putting a pause on the development of those processors. So it is what it is. Unfortunately, I mean, for me personally, yes, if there was more PS5s available, I probably would have got one day one when they first originally came out. But because of the shortages and the limited availability of them and all this craziness about them, I got to a point where it's like, you know what? Maybe I don't need a PS5 because I'm already having a hard enough time playing games as it is with just one system, or even my Switch and PS4. And now I've got the Xbox Cloud. There's plenty of places to play games for me personally. So it's like
my other two systems collect dust. I barely boot the PlayStation. I do boot up the Xbox every once in a while to see what's new on Game Pass.
Right. My daughter was able to get one. So, but she was able to, as soon as I found out GameStop was going to have a thing, she was there hitting that refresh button, waiting for that to come up.
There is a speculation that like Best Buy, Walmart, like the bigger retailers, have been kind of hoarding them in their warehouses, so they have a bunch available for Black Friday. We'll find out next week if that is or not.
So yeah, for me, it's like I've decided to just wait for the inevitable refresh of the PS5 system, the slim version, or maybe a themed version. Like if there's a God of War Ragnarok version that comes out, I'll probably try to jump on that. But that's where I am at with it.
Yeah, it's good. Good question, Mecha Dragon. I appreciate that. And hopefully you can find one as well. Last question comes from our Patreon. Bruce Patterson asks, hey, dear snack dads, can poutine be a snack? Bruce Patterson's a great question. As a Canadian, I'm proud to say poutine can be any meal you want it to be.
Yes.
You want it to be a snack? Oh, it can be a snack. I've had a poutine snack. Right? Wasn't meant to be a poutine snack, but it kept going. And then it transitioned to a poutine meal. And I just kept eating. You can have poutine all time. Let me tell you, recently I had an Eggs Benedict poutine. And let me tell you,
ask you if you can add eggs to it and be a breakfast.
Oh yeah, there's an entire poutine you can do so much to.
Yeah.
Base poutine is chips, fries, cheese curds, and gravy. That's the staple. But I recently had one where they put a poached egg on top of it with some holiday sauce, and that was like a poutine breakfast.
That sounds awesome.
Oh my gosh, it was like the best thing ever.
I want that.
It does sound amazing.
Oh yeah, it was like poutine. Oh man,
where do I need to go for this? Where do I need to go?
Canada, go to Costco. I mean, this is so bad. Costco makes a pretty good poutine for like $4. It's a pretty good poutine.
Yeah, there's actually, how you got Taco Bell.
But you need to have the $16 a year membership to get in.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
There's a poutine place over at the mall in Windsor. Whenever we go over there, I forget what it's called, but it's a fries place. But that on their menu is just a whole poutine list.
Poutineries.
Yeah. It's just, and it's my favorite place to go to every time we go over there.
We have a couple of them here in Lethbridge as well. They're very common poutineries, especially as you get closer over to like the Ontario, Quebec area. There are more and more of them as well. It's kind of, as memory serves, Quebec is kind of where it started as well, actually. So
all this poutine talk's making me really, I'm in the mood for like the Five Guys.
I had Five Guys actually today for lunch. I'm going to be honest with you. It's pretty good.
I might do that tomorrow when I'm out driving with my son.
Yeah. And hey, just for you UK listeners, because I know you listen as well, right? You're like, poutine. Come on now. I got one for you. And all the UK folks will be like, yeah. Little chips, cheese, and curry. You know what I'm saying? Chips, cheese, and curry. And that is 2:00 after a couple too many pints. You're getting ready to walk home. You're getting ready to stagger home, and you need something to use some soakage. Chips, cheese, and curry. Ooh wee! Let me. And tell
for
you.
me, if you're in the U.S., nachos or
nachos is just perfect, right? It's a good staple for everything.
Or smothered tater tots.
That reminds me of a bar I used to play poker at had this item called hillbilly nachos.
Yep, but those are tater tots. Yeah.
They used waffle fries.
Oh, okay. All right.
They were amazing.
Those are good too. Well, anything smothered like potato.
Yeah.
It could be fries. It could be waffle fries. It could be tater tots. And you're smothering it with some awesome stuff. It's probably going to be good.
So I want to answer this question. Mecha Dragon asks, so poutine is Canada's version of fast food. Let me be clear here, Mecha Dragon. Poutine in Canada is essentially anywhere that you can find fries being offered, right? So you go to McDonald's or Dairy Queen, they will have an offering of poutine. So you can get regular fries and then typically a poutine as well, right? So anywhere there's fast food, but you can go to like a normal restaurant. Like I go to a pub for maybe a dinner or whatever, can I have a burger? And they're like, fries? Absolutely fries. Do you want to make it a poutine? Yes, I do. Right. And so it's just added like an extra $2.
You would say no.
Why would you say no? Right. So it's an extra $2. You make it a poutine. So it's very common. I'm not going to the keg and being like, and can I get a poutine? Right. But for the most place, any restaurant that offers fries, for the most part, probably offers a poutine. You can get it at a fast food like a Dairy Queen or a Wendy's or a McDonald's. But you can also go to like a restaurant or a sit down place and have a good poutine as well.
It is New York fries at the Devonshire Mall. Yep. Devonshire Mall, where I get it from. Yep.
Yeah. And there are specific restaurants that are what we would call poutineries, where that is their specialty thing, and they will offer like, oh, this is poutine with bacon in it, and this is poutine with hamburger, and this is poutine with curry or chicken, right? So they have all kinds of different offerings as well.
So you can actually buy
a poutine kit from New York Fries.
Yep. You can make poutine very easily. Like if you just have, we did homemade poutine one day. It's super easy. You get fries, you get cheese curds, which you can get at your local market, and then do like a beef gravy that you pour over top of it. Let it just melt a little bit. Boom. Poutine will kill you. Yes, Chris 94.
Yes.
Chris NHL. My Great White North Canadian buddy. Hey there, Chris Poutine. What's going on? You hockey hoser? Hey, you know what's going on.
It's not something you want to eat daily or weekly.
No. I mean, you want to, but you will die. You will die. It will kill you. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Welcome to Cholesterol Dads. Right, this will be the shortest podcast ever, but absolutely. A couple things I want to add, throw to your attention before we head out here. A couple deals that I'd be remiss if I did not say it. I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to hear all the boo, get out of here, shut up, we don't like you. If you are a person who is thinking about potentially buying Google Stadia and you do not reside in Canada, tomorrow is Stadia's second birthday, and they are having an amazing blowout where you can get the Stadia Premium Edition, which is the controller and the USB dongle that you put in the back of your TV or monitor or whatever, for $22.22. $22.22. That is about 75% off the regular price right now.
This used to be like $80, right?
You can jump into Google Stadia. So if you're on the fence post about it, maybe you want to jump in. Maybe you've seen some of our coverage on Stadia. No, they are not supporting the show. I'm just saying it right now. You can absolutely do it. Stocking stuffers, I think like there is a great jumping in point. And for our Canadian folks, I don't know if maybe they're offering us a different deal, but I can tell you they're not offering us a 22 deal as well. So check that.
Maybe it'll
out.
be 33.
Yeah. And it's this what I was trying to tell you guys earlier. The Stadia controller works with my Chromecast with Google TV. That's the newest Google TV thing that they got with that comes with the dongle and the remote.
Yep.
And you can just download an app to that, and I can play Google Stadia games here on my TV with that.
Chris says, "Is a Google Stadia? Is it on sale in Canada?" So we watched, or I connected with a show called the Nerf Report, and they do a lot of cloud gaming. And they said that the deal starts tomorrow, but it's like every country, and they literally said excluding Canada. So I don't understand why. But Chris 94, if you've got friends in the US, like any of the friends on this podcast I'm looking at, they could buy it for you and they could mail it to you, and it would still be cheaper than you buying it in Canada. All right. So even with our crummy conversion rate, Tim's like literally saying, DM him right now and he'll help set you up. All right. It should be hitting at around midnight tonight as well. So again, check that out. I'd be remiss if you didn't mention that.
I'm probably going to bite on that for that price.
Yeah, just absolutely.
Worst case scenario, $20 controller.
Yep, exactly.
Even if I don't use
controller.
it.
It's a great controller. I love it. Tomorrow, Pokemon, Shiny Diamond and Brilliant Pearl. Nope, that's
actually
wrong. Brilliant.
It actually launched 15 minutes ago.
There you go.
Digitally.
Yeah. So Chris 94 says, "I don't have friends in Canada." You have friends in the US, Tim. Chris. Tim will buy it for you, and he will mail it to you if you just send him the money. All right, it's not that hard.
Hey, you're just right over the border
Costs
over there
like
to
$50
Toronto.
Canadian. Chris,
you're like
don't
6
give me
hours
this
away
BS.
from me.
All right. Oh my gosh. Pokemon launches. So expect for more coverage on Pokemon coming up soon. And as well, ladies and gentlemen, the Nintendo Switch or the Nintendo eShop has some banger of deals. Over 1,000 games are currently being on sale right now as we move into Black Friday and Cyber Monday coming up here in a little over a week as well. Make sure you check that eShop. Go over, do some wish list items, put them on there. I've seen some games running as deep as 85% off some pretty big games. So check that stuff out if you're looking to build more of a backlog, right? Why not? That's what we're all here for as well. All right. I think that's it. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Sorry?
So do I.
So do you. All right. Well, let's get ourselves out of here. We are 2 hours, folks. All right. Well, just as we're rounding out the show, big thanks to our amazing Patreon producers, Dave Ernsberger, Antonio Contrario, Metroid Hunter 101, and Solo Something. Hey, folks, if you haven't, do me a huge favor. Like, if you could, please head over to our YouTube channel, like, subscribe, ring the bell. So here's the thing. We've checked our analytics. For people that subscribe, only a small amount of you ever actually ring that bell because we put out daily videos. I kid you not. We have been putting out at least one video a day, sometimes 2 videos a day. Everything from Marty unboxing a Nerf a box that Nerf sent us. He's been trying some Canadian treats. Jesse's got some headsets that he's opening and unboxing. We've got some gameplays. We got some reviews. We got some first looks. We've got some unboxings. Go over to our YouTube channel, click like and subscribe as well. Of course, we're on Twitch, which you should always be following us on there as well. And thank you to the over 22 Twitch subscribers who also get access to our Discord community and activities. So that's a fantastic thing as well. As I mentioned before, if you want to, looking to get in Manscaped, head over to manscaped.com and use the code NINDADS, NINDADS, and get 20% off, or head over to Gooder and use the code NINDADS, NINDADS, and get 15% off amazing sunglasses and gaming glasses as well, which we all highly recommend. Hey, if you're looking for all things Nintendo Dads, head over to our website at www.nintendodads.org for our latest YouTube videos, tweets, and podcast episodes, links to our Patreon page, our merch shop, and all of that great content as well. If you're looking for places to find us, of course, Patreon, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, just type in Nintendo Dads in the search bar. Hey, and by the way, we will most likely pop up. If you have questions or want to have your voice heard on the show, email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or call in and leave us a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS or 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music you hear throughout the show that Jesse occasionally plays and sometimes completely misses a bumper. Hey, if you're listening to us on one of your favorite podcast catchers, go over and give us a 4 or 5 star review. Helps to get all of our goodness in everybody else's ears. And that includes places like CastBox, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, and Amazon Music as well. For myself, for Jesse, for Tim, be good, take care of one another. Happy Thanksgiving to all of our American friends, and take care, you hosers. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Wobble Puffet, Wobble Buffet, Maple.